Welcome to the IPX True North podcast, where we connect people, processes, and tools.
Hi, my name is Brandy Taylor, and I am the VP of Services at IPX. And I previously worked at an organization that was struggling with their cycle time on their change management process. People would do all sorts of tricks to get in the queue to start that timeline on their changes because it took so long. They would throw in a partially baked solution, they would work in parallel, and then hope, fingers crossed, that at the very last minute, they would be able to update the change package to the final design. There was also a lot of begging, pleading, and borrowing downstream to implement the change. As you can imagine, everything was hot, everyone was lacking capacity, and people were really left to getting things done through relationships and working around under and over the process. The situation probably sounds familiar to you and many others. I call it, a state of firefighting. At IPX, we call it intervention. It's also become our normal. When was the last time that you or your team really were able to spend your week, your time at work, accomplishing what you had planned to do or what you wanted to do? Intentional planned work. Instead, many show up at work every day wondering what fresh pile of you know what is going to be dropped on their laps. Then there are people who do thrive well in this type of reactive environment. Those people often get praised as firefighters or superheroes, which then in turn often creates a culture that incentivizes individuals to work around the process, find the loopholes, pull off miracles to get things done and to get recognized. So let's take a quick step back for a second. So let's talk about CM2. What is CM2? Sure, it is a standard for configuration and change management, yes, but it really is so much more. It is a collection of best practices on how to solve so many of the common problems and pain points that we face at work on a daily basis. Many individuals that I get to work with are often told they need to do more with less. And CM2, I call them CM2 tidbits, little takeaways, little bits and pieces of foundational elements that can help you solve your problems. These tidbits of sunshine give us some tailorable direction on how to do that, on how to do more with less. Fixing issues from the source instead of mopping them up later, making sure that we do solve them where the leak actually happens. And mopping them up later is not a great solution, right? It just causes more intervention and issues along the way. Why do we not think of our upstairs processes in the same light as the manufacturing processes on the floor? Think of it from a quality and first time yield perspective. We often don't do that with our upstairs processes. Why is there a difference here? We often just don't have time to do it right the first time. Process is slowing me down, and process seems to limit our ability to move fast and be agile. But when we do it this way, when we rush, when we skip steps, when we don't do the right level of due diligence, and I'm not saying it has to be strict or complicated, we always do find time to do it twice or three times to get it right. You don't need a complicated, strict, or rigid process, but you do need what I call some level of guardrails that are tailored for your specific needs. Think about your process design as something that can be designed to requirements, right? Your processes can be designed to support your business requirements, your needs, your specific problem statements. So if your process needs to be fast, light, lean, and nimble, you can design it that way. If you need it to be very rigid, and because you're in a highly regulated environment, you can design your process to be that way. So it can be designed to your goals and objectives. Let's talk about tools for a second. Modern tools are amazing and they will automate your ways of working, but they can automate good processes as well as bad processes. CM2 now provides you with the tailorable standard, right? The right ways of working. And that's been proven across industry for over 40 years. We've been training CM2 for over 40 years now. And when people complete the CM2 courseware, what do they get? Now they can envision this ideal state, right? What are all the right, if things were perfect, what does this look like? But often they don't know where to start. They're overwhelmed. And that's what we don't want. We don't want people to be overwhelmed or stuck in paralysis by analysis, because most organizations are so far from a utopian state. We're really still working at the foundation. So many people talk about AI and all of these really big topics, which are very interesting, but we're still struggling with the basics, with the ABCs of how to do this right. You can take small steps and achieve quick wins that add up. All you have to do is make sure that you query your organization, keep them engaged, identify your top 2 or 3 pain points, and use CM2 as that foundation to fix those. Measure your results, rinse and repeat. So if you have a measurable result that you can celebrate and that brings value to the business, then you can do it again. Then pick your next top 2 or 3. Don't get so stuck by the overarching look at what utopian state can look like. When we think about our modern tools cannot drive efficiency and effectiveness alone. A tool alone is not enough. Meaningful and accurate data and efficiency comes from well-defined processes.
Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe and review the show. And for more information on IPX, visit ipxhq.com.